Hello, good evening, everybody. Can anyone hear me? Okay, good evening, people. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, good, good, good. We have less than 200 people online at this time. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, traffic. Oh, I see. It rained here too, but I'm not in Lagos anyways, so I don't know. Lagos people, sorry, oh, Ekbele. Now, so Uncle David, Lagos life. You people, they try. Okay, so let's begin. Hopefully, so we can cover some grounds today. So welcome. This is session 6 of our training. This is the last for this week, apparently. The training in Abiyokuta, it looks like it's almost everywhere. Looks like, but yeah, thanks to God for that. So this is session 6. This will be the last session for this week. At the end of today's session, you are 2 weeks out of the training already. So which means by next week, we would be in the third phase of the training. I mean, the third week, not the third phase, third week of the training, which will leave us with 2 more weeks to round up our course on Excel. So it's good to have gone this far. How's been the journey for you, everybody? How's been the journey? Is it making sense? Not quite what you expected, far more than what you expected, just as you expected. How is it been? How's it been? How's it been? How's it been? Let me hear from you. Awesome, fantastic, making sense, exciting and intriguing. Oh, I see. Big English here. Making sense. Not easy. Yeah, it's not meant to be easy. Nothing good comes easy, as people would say. Maybe not everything, but most things that are good, they don't come easy. But yeah, the journey will be worthwhile at the end, I believe. It's definitely making sense. We're not happening. Okay. Really advanced. Yeah, no, it's not advanced though. We are still scratching the surface. We have not gone advanced yet. Interesting. Yeah. Signature word. It's making sense. It's insightful. Far more than you expected, Faith. Okay, I'm glad. Learn some new things. Okay, friend on me. That's good to know. Sunday, sweet and bitter. Which one be this one? Akula not. It has pushed you out of your comfort zone. It's not good to be in the comfort zone, anyways, especially for learning. You need something that will stretch you so you are able to absorb beyond what you naturally would think you can take. Okay, so I'm glad seeing some of your comments and stuff. Yeah, I'm rushing. I'm not rushing you, bro. I'm not rushing you. I know how it would have been if I wanted to run this as a marathon. Yeah, I know how it would have been. And a great consideration was given to you all because of the fact that while we surveyed the first session, we realized that some of you are absolute beginners. So it wouldn't have been so good for most of you if we had started from the ground up, something like that. So saying that this is advanced is pretty not yet. Although I know that for people that had done some Excel training before now too, they probably would have got some one or two things. I want to believe. At the same time, and I've not been rushing actually. I've not been rushing. I believe I've handled this in a good pace because so just to be able to strike a blend such that the beginners would not they will not be lost, and people who are a bit experienced, they would have something valuable to go with as well. So that's the pattern. So yeah, beyond what you expected, considering the fact that you are used to Excel. Yeah, it's good. This quite good comments from you, Fatima. Thanks for that. um okay, so let's go now. Today we are progressing. As a beginner, trust me, you've learned a lot. Good to know, James. So today we want to proceed from where we stopped yesterday, and today we are going the realm of another set of functions. This time around, we want to explore dates. We want to explore dates. But before then, I don't like to miss the usual ritual, which is everyone head onto the chart and tell me something that you learned yesterday. Okay, Daniel learned if, ifs, and switch. Let's continue from that yesterday. Very important. Where did we stop yesterday? What are we supposed to continue from? Always wrap up your text in double quote. Yes, that's true. Difference between and all. Good, Deborah. File, okay. No, you're not supposed to be asking me about the file today. Yeah, the file would always get to you in the usual, via the usual. What's the word? The usual way or platform. So it's not supposed to be shared. It's not supposed to be a conversation for this place. Nesting, yes, we spoke about it a bit yesterday as well. Olufunke, if, ifs. Olufunke, this your if. That's not the Excel if. That's the SQL if, I believe. If you're writing if in SQL Server. If switch, difference between and or. Says that all conditions must be true to get true, and or says that at least one of the conditions must be true to get true. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Don't mind the boy. Okay. Biscuits. We're not trained with that. All right. Okay, so let's start. Well, just give me a second. Okay, all right. So let's run through this. So today we want to talk about dates. Dates are one of the most important things when it comes to reporting. And can someone tell me why? Why would dates be so important in reporting and analysis? Samuel Akara. Maybe not yet. Why would date or why is date so important in reporting and analysis? Good evening, Madam Adetutu. Because of timing. Okay, because of timing. How? Dates put time signature to data akin today. You can go a bit more explicit. It reflects the day. How? Smart records so can be easily retrieved and sorted. Okay, one of it. To keep track of record, to be able to detect changes or draw insight, to show the time of happening. Data important for proper extraction of data. Accounting date, accountant, and I go show myself. It is about running a criteria that is no, which one? Okay, the person is just joining. Adelito of Chelsea K. Which one is of Chelsea? What does that mean? You need to use dates to report details of your data at times to keep track of transactions. It helps to keep track of transactions. Okay. Forecasting. All right. Great point. To know trends for future reference, for accuracy and referencing. All right. Most of your points are valid. Most of these are valid points. Let's put it straight. No analysis would actually make sense without it. That's just a summary. No analysis at all would make sense without date. What do I mean? Think about it this way. You are in the boardroom and someone just tells you that we made 5,000 naira. What would be the question they would ask? If someone says we made 5,000 naira, what would be your question to the person? You ask when. You ask when. Because we made 5,000 naira when? Was that yesterday? Last week? Last month? Last year? Since the inception of the business? When exactly? Without the when, nothing, no number would have a good context, at least at the minimal level. Date is one of the key attributes that gives your data the context that it deserves. There are a number of other things that will give you context, but dates play a major role in that, such that you look at the number and then it makes sense to you. Because when someone says that we made 5,000 naira, and then you asked when, and they said we made 5,000 naira yesterday, the way that would ring in your mind will be different from how it would if the person says we made 5,000 last month. You're wondering, a whole 30 days of business, we made 5,000 naira. How? If I would say the way people would say, you say Hazal now, right? Like, how did that happen? And we pay salaries. So, dates without dates, a lot of your reporting numbers would make zero sense. Without dates, a lot of your numbers would be meaningless. So that's how important dates are. So, which is why dates related manipulations, there are things that you should be able to do. So, you have a date in a particular format, you should be able to create or extract the kinds of date attributes that you so would need. For example, we have our normal date. We have our normal date. I don't think my screen has been pushed yet. Tolulokwe, please help with that so people can see my screen at their end. Thank you. Yes, yes, I figured. So that will come up now. Yes, I know, I know, I know. Just hold on, hold on. The admin is helping with that. You'll see the screen in a moment, please. Yes, just a moment. Okay, looks like people are getting home already. People are settling in. We have more people online now. Sorry, Lagos people. Sorry, I was told about your plight today. And Abeokuta people, Adamawa people. You said it's out there, so I'm taking back my sorry. My sorry is not for everyone. Okay, you can see the screen now, right? Can you see the screen now, people? It's up now. Super. So now we have the normal dates. So let's say we have a date like this 1/1/2020. You have a date like this 1/1/2020. And from this date, you may want to report by day of week. For example, you want to know what was the volume of transaction that happened on a Monday, for example. That's a date attribute that can be extracted from the normal date that you have. So this is a normal date here. This is normal date here, and these are some date attributes that you can extract from it. You may want to know what month do we have in here, or what month did the transaction happen. So for this case, the month is January. You may want to know that. You may want to know the quarter that the transaction happened by way of extracting that quarter from the actual dates that you have. So which for now the quarter will be something like Q1, or you want to know the year itself, which will be 2020. So these are some date attributes that you can get from a single date that you have. How do you go about extracting all of those date attributes from a normal date that you have in your data set? We'll get to that. Also, when we talk about date functions, there are some functions that you typically would use almost every time, depending on the scenarios, anyways. So we have today as a function, we have now as a function, then we have year, we have month, we have day, then we have EDATE, EO month, we have date diff. Which other ones do we have? Okay, we have workday. What's going on? We have workday. We have network day. All right, I think this will suffice. Then we have one powerful guy that we call text. You'll be wondering how text becomes a date function. We'll get to know very shortly. So these are some functions that relate to date. These are some functions that relate to date. Let's begin with case study 1, straight up. As always, we have this to be our staff members, and then we have the department, and we have the resumption date. This was when they all joined us. This when they joined us as a business. First is, I need you to try this out. Look at this date. This date, for example, 13/08/2019. What is the year in this? What is the year in this? 13/08/2019. What is the year? Good. 2019. So I need you to try it out at your end. Extract 2019 from this date. So try it on your file and paste your result in the chart. Extract the year from the date and paste the formula actually. Paste the formula on the chart for me. Extract the year from the date and paste the formula on the chart. Super. Excellent. You use the year function. I know that because we learned about text functions some days back, someone might be tempted to say that 2019 is sitting at the rightmost part of the date, so they want to use the right function. I need someone to try it from their end and tell me what you get if you use the right function on the date to extract the last 4 digits. Use the right function, tell me what you get, and tell me why you got what you got. Okay. Emeton got 3690. Yeah, David, you thought of it. Good. I know. Some people actually somehow you got a hint from people when they started typing in the year function. Ajayi, good. Sir Carlos, yes, I don't catch you. Not you, I don't catch you. So you got 3690. You use extract initially, it says NA. Extract initially. What does that mean? You use the right, okay? Because it's not a text, I didn't know. So because it's not a text, what exactly is happening? How did you get the 3690 that you got? Because Excel understands the year as whole number. Close to it, but not exactly. All right, so let's do this. This is a foundational thing that you should know about Excel. Very foundational. Which is a case of Excel only recognizes 2 things. It's either that thing is a number. What's this? Which I press? What's happening? Nope. What's going on here? Okay. I hope something has not taken over my system. Okay, I see. So someone is laughing. uh, don't worry. This is what we face sometimes. If you don't maintain your state, people start to think, this guy knows Sabi Gary, the guy they form. He just a bobo since. Okay, so yeah, so we are back. We are back in power. My keyboard is speaking in tongues. Can you see? Your sister has gone to China. Make it no go a beg. All right. So Excel understands two things. Whatever you're putting in Excel has to either be numbers or text. Excel understands every single thing that you type into a cell to either be a text or a number. And how do you recognize what Excel understands to be a text or what it understands to be a number? Number one signal is to look at the alignment. Whenever you type anything in Excel and that thing is right aligned within the cell, if that thing, that entry is right aligned within the cell, then you know that that thing, Excel recognizes it to be a number by default, except the formatting has been changed. But by default, that's what Excel sees. And if you type a text, Excel would left align it. Excel would left align it. So which tells you that even when sometimes you see something that looks like number, like this, but it is left aligned, it means that naturally Excel is thinking that that thing is a text. Excel is thinking that that thing is a text. So when it now comes to dates, every single date that you see in Excel is actually a number. Every single date that you see in Excel is actually a number. Excel recognizes it to be a number. And this is easy to get. So if I do something like this is today's date. I'll tell you that later. This is today's date. This date here, if I change the formatting, if I convert this, I format it as number, you see that there's actually a number behind it. If I go here to the date and I say that this should be written as number, you see that this is actually the number behind that date. So for every single date that you see in Excel, Excel began the counting of the serial number from the 1st of January 1900. So the first day that Excel recognizes is 1st of January 1900. So that takes day one. So which means today being the 5th of November 2025, we are 45,966 days away from this particular date. And now, if we go back to this date that we see here, so this particular date that we see here, if I just do something like this, equal to this date plus 1 minus 1, and then I convert this to number like so, you see here that this is 43,690. So this 46,690, we now set that we wanted to extract the last 4 digits, and that's why we go back 3690. So you understand why when you use the right function on the date, it returns 3690, because the underlying thing that Excel actually sees is 43690. Excel does not really see the 1308 2019. Does anyone understand what I've just explained? Anybody? Do you understand what I just explained? Okay. What I just explained, if you paid attention, after now most things that I will explain today, I will only explain once. Because I know that for some of you, you are monitoring the chat for some other things. I don't know what your intent is, but you're monitoring the chat. You're not looking at the screen. What I'm saying is this. Excel recognizes dates to be numbers. Excel recognizes dates to be numbers. And the counting of the serial numbers behind every single date that you see started from the 1st of January 1900. So to Excel, 1st of January 1900 is day one. 1st of January 1900 is day one. Now, if you look at today's date is what you see here, 5th of November 2025. If we convert this to numbers, it says that this is 45,966. What that tells you is that 45,000, today's date, today is 45,966 days from the 1st of January 1900. So it's a serial thing to Excel. So tomorrow, Excel will add 1 to that. So by tomorrow, this will become 45,967. So if we go now to what you see here as the resumption date, 13/08/2019, which I asked you then to extract the year from using the right function. If we convert this 13/08/2019 to serial number, well, this is what you'll get. How do you do that? Just change the format from date to number. That's all. So when you do that, you get 43,690. This 43,690 was what, or is what Excel can see behind the scenes, and that's what Excel is using the right function over to extract the last 4 digits. So if you're picking the last 4 digits from 43,690, that leaves you with 3690. And that's why you all got 3690 earlier when you use the right function on the date to return the last 4 digits. So the point I'm making here is that every single date that you see in Excel is actually a number, and that would explain why we would be able to do some mathematical operations on those dates. So you can say that this plus this number of days, this date minus this number of days. That is what makes it possible. So that explains why when you want to extract any component, any part of date, you cannot use the text function because Excel does not recognize them to be text. So you'll be getting to extract from the underlying numbers, which many times would not result into what you expect it to be. Makes sense to you now, everybody? Makes sense, Claire? Okay. No, okay. But now, why now? Why? All right, so let's go. The first lesson here, before we go into our case studies, is that if you want to get today's date automatically in Excel, there are 2 approaches. You can use the today function, or you can use the now function. If I do equal to today as a function returns the current date formatted as a date. Returns the current date formatted as a date. Today, if you look at this closely, you see that today requires no argument. And this tells you that there is a category of functions in Excel that requires no argument. So once you look at the function and you see that in the function syntax itself, is just a closing, an opening and a closing bracket that's there, nothing inside. That tells you that the function is not asking you for any argument. Now, even though you understand perfectly, I just feel like 2025 is 125. What does that mean? It means you don't understand all I've said. apparently. Now, today, if I just open and close the bracket and I hit enter, this gives today's date. If I do equal to now, the now function also requires no arguments. If I do that, so this one, when you use the now function, that returns the current date and the time. You see that now came with the time portion of the date. When you use today, it only gives you the date portion. Now gives you the date and the time. And these two functions, they are part of the family of functions that are called volatile functions. What are volatile functions? These are functions that auto-update whenever you're working in Excel. If you're working on the same file, once the time changes, you see that this function would auto-update itself. I don't have to do anything. Maybe in some seconds from now, if I do anything close here and I hit enter, you see that these auto updates, and that is why they are called volatile functions, because they are functions that would naturally, automatically by themselves recalculate. And when they recalculate, they get whatever is the updated time and updated date. What this also tells you is that if you save this file today, you open it tomorrow, this date would update. You see 06, and then the time also would update. Those are part of the volatile functions. So maybe you would have seen it in someone's spreadsheet. And whenever you open the spreadsheet, you see a message at the top that says today's date is so. The person most likely would have used the today function or the now function in that statement to be able to ensure that whenever they open that file, the file automatically picks the current date and the current time. There are a number of volatile functions in Excel, but these are just two of them. Excuse me. These are two of them that we're learning now. So we have a few other ones that hopefully we might meet them. But just know that any function that is capable of updating itself is a volatile function. Somebody is asking me again, what's the meaning of KKLD? I just typed something there. It has no meaning. Let me erase it. All right. Then to get the actual date and time in Excel also has some shortcuts. You don't always have to use the functions, but if you use the shortcut, so if you want to use the shortcuts, I can do Control Shift colon, Control colon, that will give us the date. So Control colon will give us the date. And if I want the date and the time in the same cell, I do Control colon. What did I press now? Sorry, Control colon. That will give us the date. If I want the time alongside this, I can just add a space and then I do Control Shift colon. That will give the time and I hit enter. So this gives the date and the time. So for the date, Control plus colon. Then for date and time, Control plus colon, and then you do Control Shift colon or semicolon. It's the same key. So you hear people say it's Control semicolon or Control colon. It's just the same key that's doing both. Now let's go to case study 1. If all I've explained up to this point is clear to you, go on the chart and type 4. All right, so let's start. You want to extract the resumption year from the resumption date. So we've been given the resumption date, but we need a year. This is because sometimes, especially if you're doing HR reporting, HR analysis, you want to report by not the exact dates. If you're reporting by the exact date, it might not make so much sense. Imagine you have 20 employees in your business and the tendency that you have two employees resume on the same date is slim. It's possible, but it's slim. What would make sense in your own report is probably to report by year. So that way you are tracking how many employees resumed in a particular year, or how many employees resumed in a particular month, or how many employees resumed in a particular quarter. So that's something that you that might make sense for your kind of reporting. So we already have the resumption date, then we want to now extract resumption year, which would aid some bit of our reporting. How do we get out the year from the date? You already know we use the year function. The year function is asking for serial number. And this also validates the point that dates are serial numbers, because every single date function that you see in Excel, the argument will say that it's expecting either a date or a serial number. You are hearing two voices. What does that mean? Can people confirm, please? Is there an echo? Are you hearing multiple voices? Any issue with the audio? No, it's clear. All right. Many thanks. Okay, so what I'm explaining here, the year function is asking for serial number. So I just point to this, close the bracket, hit enter, and this tells us that 2019 is the year from this. So I can take out the formatting so this does not look like the typical number. So what I would do is I come here at the top here where you have, so this is the formatting, it's using the numbers format. I can just highlight the entire column and say that they should all use the general format so that we can have the year the way it's supposed to be displayed. And once we're done with the first one, you already know, you can push this guy down and the same calculation is replicated below. All of the years are extracted. Resumption month. What function are we supposed to use? In Excel, we have the month function. The month function also, as we see, is requesting for, yes, mine gave you 2019 directly. Yes, that's just because of I probably, maybe when I was updating this file, maybe I had changed the formatting. The month is also asking for the serial number, which is the date that you want to extract the month from. So I'll just point to the resumption date here. I close the bracket and I hit enter, and this tells us that this guy resumed in month 8. What is month 8? That should be August, I think. Yeah. So we use the month function to extract the month portion of a date. If you're up to this point, please type 6 on the chart. Anyone has a question yet? Your year function is given 1905. It has to be your year. That's an Excel's year function. Can we turn it to Word? What do you mean turn it to Word? I don't get it. About this setting, I'm getting this 0801 1900. I don't understand what you mean. Do you mean when you use the month function on the date, that's what you got back? Why is the month not showing as 08? The month will not show as 08 because the result is supposed to be a number. And 08 is technically not a number. The number there is 8. It's not 08. So if you want to get it as 08, you have to do something to retain any leading zero. So naturally, when you type in Excel and you type leading zeros before numbers, before normal digits, the zeros are dropped, they're truncated. So that is one thing that you need to know. It meant changing 8 to August. Super. We'll get there. Now, let's take it a notch higher. We want to, instead of the 8, instead of having the month back returned in number, how do we get it to be returned in words? To say that we want it to say August. When the month is 5, we want it to say May. How do we do that? Simple. What I do is equal to. And that's when we would need that function that's called text. So look at what the text function does. It says it converts a value to text in a specific number format. The text function converts a value to text in a specific number column. How did you add extra column? Highlight the column and press Ctrl Shift plus. Convert a value to text in a specific number format. Text is asking for two things. What is the value we want to extract from? Yours is returning as 08010. Just change the format to number. That's all you have to do. Text is asking for two things. The value that we want to format, like the value we want to extract from, and in what format do we want to return the result. When I do the first one, it's most likely will be clear to some of you. Just pay attention. The text function is asking for two things. Value, which is what you want to extract from, which should technically be a number or a date, as in our case. And then the format, in what format do you want to return the result? So I'll point to the date here, comma. Now, if I want to return the months in full, I want to return August in full, I would type in 4Ms, letter M 4 times. This is the code that helps Excel understand that you want to return the month's name in full. If I hit enter, you see that we get back August. So let's come here. Let me give you those examples. If we want to return August, you use 4Ms. If you want to return AUG, 3Ms. If you want to return 08, like someone requested or asked, 08 like this, you use 2Ms, 8, single M. Yours showed AUG. You did not use 4Ms. You probably used 3. So if you use 3, you'll get back the short form of the month name. If you use 2Ms, you get back 08. And if you use 1M, you get back 8. But one thing you need to bear in mind is, even when your text function returns 8 and 08, these two are text, they are not numbers. You need to pay attention to that. Wherever is the output of the text function is actually of the text format and not numbers. How do I change it to numbers? What do you want to change to numbers? Ademuyiwa. What do you want to change to numbers? Why 4M and not 6M? This is the first time I'm being asked this question, and I will tell you I don't know. So this is actually about how it has been programmed. And this is not the only function that acts this way. This is not the only function that acts this way. In DAX 2, that is the language of Power BI, we have a function that behaves similarly to this. It behaves similarly to this. So just know that that is how the function has been programmed. So it's more, just assume that you are in your university lecture hall and you ask your lecturer a question and it tells you that, just take it away. So that's what I'm telling you to now. Take it as I've said it. I hope it's clear. Yes, I mentioned that earlier to me. 08. So whenever you type any leading zero alongside digits, Excel will naturally truncate it. So there is a way to make it stay, okay? Is this clear to everybody? You understood how, or you understand how we naturally would get out the month name from, thank you for that, Medina. Yeah. The month name from the date. Yes, yes will be Y. Yes, that's correct. And for day, what would that be? You apply same thing thought, but you return January. On what date did you apply it? How do you make it stay? This is the trick. So whenever you want to type, you want your leading zeros to stay, what you need to do is just start with a single quote. Start with a single quote and type whatever you want to type. It will stay. But you have this warning because it tells you that I'm expecting a number, but you have used a trick to turn it into text. I hope you understand. You got that point. All right. Yeah. So when you want to, how many M for me is the same thing, is the same thing. So the number of M's is not tied to any month. So it's just a code that works behind the scenes. So whenever you use 4M's, Excel understands that you want it to return the month name in full. So whether the month name you are returning is 3-lettered month or 5-lettered month or 10-lettered month, Excel doesn't care. But you're typing in 4M's, Excel to mean that you want the full month name to be returned. So you're typing in 4Ds, Excel understands that you want the full day, what weekday to be returned. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like that. What of time, sir? What does that mean? The first date. What's the first date? You might have tampered with your own. That's why I'm asking you. All right, so let's proceed. Now, resumption date. Resumption day. So what day did our employees resume? So for this, we want to return, maybe it's a Wednesday, maybe it's a Monday, maybe it's a Friday. So do it and send the codes to me. What will be the short form for May? Let me push that question back to you. What function did you use to return the date text? I don't understand. So get out the resumption day, which should either be a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday written in full, and paste your code on the chart. If you want time to return in words and not number, give me an example of what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying. How do you return time in words? I want what you just did, Ifeolu Angela, that would not return what I want. So I want the actual weekday or day of week to be returned. Well done, Sheon Grace. That's not it, Temitope. Adeshola, well done. Okay, well done. I'm expecting a few more responses. Ogunle, what you typed here would not work. I can assure you. Solomon, you used shortcut for me, but this is not what I'm expecting from you. So whatever you are typing on the chat, I can already tell you whether you tried it or you did not. So you can't just put anything on the chat for me. I would know whether that would work or it won't work. Even if even if I don't type it in Excel, I know it will work or not. For example, what Sunday just typed now, that would not work. So my expectation whenever I ask you to type a formula in the chat is copy it from Excel and just put it in the chat. So that way you save yourself the stress of having to type whatever. Omonoi query, what you typed also would not work. It's not possible. Okay, so let's proceed. Quick question. Now we've gotten out the year, the month number, the month name, and the day of the week. I need you to get out the quarter. So get out the quarter, extract the quarter from the resumption date. Extract the quarter from the resumption date. Anyone working on getting the quarter of the year? So for example, now you are looking at August. August is in what quarter of the year? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? What quarter of the year would August be in? Q3, good. So how do we extract that automatically from our date to say that August will be Q3, May will be Q2, November will be Q4, and like that? What are you dividing by 4? Oluwatosin, lead the way, please. Show us. I will pretend as though I did not see some comments. It's an interesting evening tonight. Don't worry. Excel is excelling you now. You don't know how we got here. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll soon be out of here. Okay, let's think through it together. Let's think through it together. And I'm going to explain this just once. I won't do twice. So let me clean this part of the board. So pay attention, everybody. Pay attention. Pay attention, everybody. If you have a date, this is today's date. For us to know what quarter of the year we are in at this date, what is the first thing that we need to know? What's the first thing that we need to know? For us to know what quarter of the year we are in any date, what is the first thing we need to know? We need to know the month. Good. The month here is 11. The month here is 11. And we know that November as a month is in Q4. We know that November is in Q4. The question now is, how can we turn 11 to 4? Ignore the Q for now. How can we turn 11 to 4? That's the question. How can we turn 11 to 4? Anyone has an idea? No idea if you're yes. We know it actually, but it's just not so direct. Divide what? Olufunke says 11 minus 7. Okay, that would give 4 actually. But whatever pattern we are using here to turn 11 to 4 must work for every other month as well. So it means that when we're looking at February, which is 2, February is month 2, and for month 2 is actually in the first quarter. So that same pattern must work to turn 2 to 1, if you understand what I mean. Yeah. So this is how we go about it. The first thing to do is we know that for every single month, for every single quarter, there are 3 months there. There are 3 months in every quarter. So what we'll do here is to pick the month number. I will say the month number is 11. I will divide this by 3. I will divide the month number by 3. If I divide the month number by 3, what do I get? I get 3.666667, like that. 3.6667 is it closer to 4 or to 3? Is it closer to 4 or to 3? Is it closer to 4 or to 3? It's closer to 4. Excellent. So what I just need here is to sort of find a way to push this guy up to 4. And whenever we are rounding up numbers in Excel, we have a couple of functions. So you have the round function, you have round up, you have round down. So we can come here and say that for this guy, I want to, so let me just say, I want to pick the month from here. And then we now say that it should round up whatever is the result of this. And then we get a 4. If we say, assuming that the month we are considering is 5, which is May, let's see what quarter that will be. That is in quarter 2. If the month is 2 for February, that will be quarter 1. And this is just the idea. So it's more like saying that you have an understanding that in every quarter there are 3 months. So whatever the month number is divided by 3, that will give you a value. Then round the value up to the nearest integer. That would give you the quarter that the month is in. And once you have the quarter, you want to add Q before it. You already learned that already. So what we can do is to come before this guy. I put a double quote. I put a double quote like this with an ampersand. I say that whatever this function is returning, add a Q before it. And I hit enter. Now I have Q1. So if you say that the month is December, so this becomes Q4. If the month is September, this becomes Q3. If the month is April, this becomes Q2, and like that. Do you understand this, everybody? Okay, you should take it again. Quarter. So let's come here. Let's do it on the actual data. So you see it from here. Resumption, quarter. So what I do is that the first step is we want to extract the month from this date. So I say equal to month of the date. That's step number 1. But I need this guy to be a number. So this is step number 1, is to extract the month from the date. After we've extracted a month from the date, the next thing is we know that there are 3 months in every quarter. So we want to divide that by 3. So I come in here now, I say whatever is the month divided by 3. And this gives me this guy. So I don't want you to return a date. Why are you being stubborn? So this is what we get. And now the next thing to do is to now round this guy up. So I just come back in here. I do a round up. I round this up to the nearest integer. So I say comma 0 to the nearest integer. Close the bracket. I hit enter. This gives us a 3. Then I want to put a Q before this. So I just come at the front, Q like this with an ampersand, append a Q to whatever the result is, and I get Q3. If I push this some way down, you see that for May, we get Q2, November, Q4, August, Q3. I'm hoping this is clear to everybody now. If it's not clear, you go watch the recording when we are done. Yeah, bro. Yes, someone typed the quarter function. Let me see. I don't have quarter function. So where are you getting quarter function from? Mr. Obafemi, you have quarter function in your own Excel? I don't have it here. Same with Godwin. I don't know where you got quarter function from. I don't have it. Maybe you do. Anyways. I was wondering too, Rachel. I was wondering too. And again, because Excel gets updated every month, so maybe it's part of the new updates rolled out, which I don't have yet. It's just possible. What about this int month of this -1 divided by 3 plus 1 is practically the same thing. But I suppose this is more like the formula that we get online. You know, you get some formula online, but you will not be able to explain why the formula is working. Take it again. Nope. Let's move on. That's why this this is recorded, so you can always get back to this. So let's proceed, people. Excel 2021 as quarter. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Days in employment. How many days have each of the employees spent in the business? How many days have they spent in the business? How do we get that out? Think about it. What's the logic first? What's the approach? They got it from ChatGPT. I see. So what's the approach? If you want to know how long in days someone has stayed in the business, what is the logic? Think about it. Resumption date subtracted from today's date. Perfect. So resumption date subtracted from today's date. So if we say resumption date minus today's date, that technically will give us our date today minus resumption date, because since we want to keep knowing, we want to continue to know whenever we open the spreadsheet how long they've stayed with us in the business, it's good that we use today as a function, as that will help us with that. So what I can do here is there are quite a number of approaches to this. There are a number of ways to go to get this. So one way is to say that we want to do today minus the resumption date. Today minus resumption date. This is what you get. Also, is that we might want to go the route of this function here, days function. There is the days function that is capable of returning the number of days between two dates. Days as a function is capable of returning the number of days between two dates. But we were able to do normal subtraction, say today minus resumption date, because behind the scenes, both are just numbers. And so whatever Excel recognizes to be numbers, you can actually perform arithmetic operations on it. Is this clear to everybody, please? There's still, we have more approaches, but we don't have to go over everything, yeah? Is this clear to everybody? Was not clear, Godfrey? What's your question? Blessing, what's your question? What's not clear? Okay, let's take it again. Equal to today. Equal to today minus resumption date. What are we saying here? It's more to say that we are subtracting the resumption date from today's date. That's all we are doing. And you hit enter. When you hit enter, depending, you might get this back as a date. It's possible that you get it back as a date. So just know that what you need to do is to format it as numbers, and that solves it. That solves it. If you didn't get it earlier, I suppose you should have gotten it now. Yes, okay, me, that should work too. Gabriel is text, not test. All right, let's proceed. Months in employment. Months in employment. How many months have the employees stayed with us in the business? For how many months? We have a function called date diff. We have a function called date diff. So this function, for whatever reason, you will not see an intelligence for it. It's a function that everybody should have, but I don't know why you will not see an intelligence for it. But the function is still there in Excel. It never breaks, and it does what it's supposed to do. Date diff is asking for three things. Date diff is asking for three things: start date, the end date, and in what format do you want to return the result. So when you say that you want to return the number of days, the difference between 2 days, but you want to return it in days, there is something you have to do. If you want to return it in month, you have to include something. If you want to return it in years, you have to include something. So what is the start date? The start date is the employment date. So I select the employment date. I just said it. You will have it. Don't worry. You will not see it in the IntelliSense, but you have it. Just type date div and open the bracket. I already said that. Please, let's pay attention. Then I put a comma. I said today, that is the end date, comma. In what format do I want to return? I want to return the difference in days. So I put a D in double quote. I put a D in double quote. Then I hit enter. Sorry, this is supposed to be M because we want to return it in month. And you notice that because I used a D, we got the same thing back as what we did earlier. So that tells you that we can also use the date div to get the difference in days. So for this, I'm going to use M. We want to return it in month, and this tells you that we have 74 months. Thanks for that, Vic. Have you seen date div now, people? You won't see it there's no intelligence for it. I explained that already. So just type date div equal to date div. You see that for me there's no intelligence as well. Date div start date is the employment date. If you go online, you still see it. You see a documentation for it, so it still exists. Then today, that is the end date, and want to return the difference in month. Want to return the difference in month, and I hit enter. We get back 74. If we are together up to this, please type 7 on the chat. It's bringing name error for you. How are you typing the date div? You probably didn't type it correctly. Or maybe you are using double F, a single F. Date, D-I-F. No space in between. All right. Super. So let's proceed to the next case study. Month in employment, nope. We did that twice already. Now we have, for this one, we have the start date, and we have days interval, we have month interval, and we have years interval. The first lesson from here is that, let me do this. The first lesson from here is that there are times that you are downloading a data set and you have the dates part already split out. What do I mean? You have a date like this, that you have the actual day, you have the actual month, and maybe you have the actual year. Let me give you an instance. If I go here to the board, we have something like this. Tell you that this is the day, the month, the year. The day is 23, month is 6, year is 1936, 46. And now you're expected to construct the actual dates from this date part. So you see that for this case is the reverse. We've been given the date part, and now you have to construct the actual date. This is actually not my class. I was enrolled to machine learning instead. I will just follow this class without. You are enrolled in machine learning, so you are not supposed to be here. If machine learning is what you want to do, I don't think you're supposed to be here. So you are not just whiling away the time. Except if you enrolled in machine learning in error, maybe. But if machine learning is actually what you want to do, you are not supposed to sit here, please. If you have dates parts like this, you are given the actual dates. Maybe you have a column that has the actual day, then you have a column that has the actual month, you have a column that has the actual year, and you want to construct the date from here, then we have a date function in Excel. So I do equal to date. I do equal to date, and the date is asking for three things. What is the year? What is the month? What is the day? So I pick the year, that is what you see here, 1946, comma, what is the month? 6, comma, what is the day? 23. I hit enter and the date gets constructed for us. In error, I see. So you can also attempt, if yeah, maybe just sit here anyways. Let's leave it at that. So this is the actual date. So if you have the dates in pieces, you want to put them together, you can use the dates function. Pick the different parts, the year, comma, the month, comma, and the day, like so. Close the bracket, hit enter, and you get the actual date. So let's go back. So for this one now, we've got a start date and we are supposed to construct the future date. So the future date is days after start date. So this number of days after the start date, that is what the future date is. This number of days, which means from the 1st of January 2025, what will be the date if we forward the date from the 1st of January 2025 by 27 days? If we push 1st of January 2025 by 27 days, what would be the future date? There are a couple of ways to think about this. You might want to think about this in a way that, for example, the 27 days that you want to add, do you want that to be just every day of the week? Or you only want to consider work days or weekdays? So if you want to consider weekdays, that would mean that you want to exclude weekends. So if you want to exclude weekends, and which means that you want to add 27 working days to the 1st of January 2025, what date would that give to you? So let's see. If you want it so I've mentioned 2 scenarios now. Scenario 1 is you want to sort of just get the number of days, which would naturally be 1st of January 2025 plus 27, and that will be 28th of January 2025. That's pretty direct. Normal addition would get you to that. But for this case, if you only want to get out, you want to add 27 working days to that start date, what you need to do is we have a function called what's this function? I think it's workday. Let me see. Returns the serial number of dates before or after specified number of work days. Excellent. So it's the workday function. So workday, and that's why it's important that sometimes you go through the description of what the functions would do, because of the numerous things that you need to pay attention to. People, you cannot always remember what all functions do. If I've not been training, I probably would have forgotten a lot of them as well. But because I train on them from every now and then. So a lot of them actually have stuck with me, but at the same time, I might still forget something. So the descriptions would always work. But the point is also that whatever you know, no matter how little, please know it well. So the workday function. The workday function is capable of returning the serial number of days before or after a specified number of workdays. So we want to add, what is the start date? The start date is the 1st of January 2025, and we want to add 27 working days to that. So I hit enter on this. I just convert this to date. And now you see that from the 1st of January 2025, if we add 27 working days to it, we will be on the 7th of February 2025. So let's do it again. Equals to work day. Then what is the start date? The start date is here. This is the start date, and this is the number of working days that we want to include. Then I'll just hit enter at this point, and then we have this out. So I've done it twice. I want to assume you got it. If you did get it, head onto the chart and type 8. Yes, whatever format your Excel is using to display your date, whether month before day or day before month, is as a result of the way your system is displaying your date. So if you look at your system, you notice that that's the exact format your system is using. That's the exact format your system is using. So if your system is displaying date in the month, day, year format, that is what Excel would use as well. Yes, Grace, yours gave a value, just convert it to date. Shortcuts to format in date is Control-Shift-3. On that cell, just press Control-Shift-3, you get the date format. All right, so let's proceed. Next work date. Next work date. Assuming that you have some of your employees, they are going on leave. Yes, you can drag down. Once you do it for the first cell, you can push it down. Assuming that you have some of your employees who have gone or who would go on leave for some months. For example, this guy here, they are starting their leave on the 1st of January 2025, and they're going on 9 months leave. Maybe this is a maternity leave or whatever. I don't know what kind of leave will give you 9 months of leave. Maybe sabbatical for those in the academics. Now, how do you push a date forward by some months? Sabbatical, yeah, possible. How would you push a date forward by a number of months? We have a function in Excel called EDATE. EDATE. So the EDATE function returns the serial number of the date that is indicated, that is the indicated number of months before or after the start date. Pay attention to the before or after. So that same thing is mentioned when we wanted to use the workday function. You see before and after. Before and after just means that if you want to shift the date forward, whatever you're using to shift the date forward will be positive. If you want to shift the dates backward, whatever you'll be using will be negative. Let's say, for instance, this same date that I have here, I want to shift it backwards. So which means I want to do workday start from the 1st of January 2025 and shift it backwards by 27 days. I hit enter, Control-Shift-3. Now you see that when I shifted it forward, 27 working days after the 1st of January 2025 fell on the 7th of February 2025. 27 working days before the 1st of January 2025 fell on 25th November 2024. So whenever you look at the description of the function and it tells you that the date can either be forward or backwards, if you want it to go backwards, just know that you're supposed to just include the negative sign before whatever number or whatever value you're using to shift the date. Does anyone understand what I just explained? So what I just explained is this. The same way you can shift your date forward by adding number of days is the same way you can shift the date backward by subtracting number of days. So whenever you want to shift the date backward, just ensure that you are adding a negative behind the value that you want to use to shift the date backward instead of leaving the value the way it is. So if you leave the value as positive, the date goes forward. If you leave the value as, if you want the date to go backward, include a negative sign before the value you want to use to shift the date, and that takes the date backwards. Make sense now? All right. So how many days or on what date would they return if they are going for leave for some months? So I do equal to EDATE. They are starting on the 1st of January 2025, and this guy is going for 9 months. So the guy is starting on the 1st of January 2025 and is going for 9 months. When would he return? I hit enter. It's going to be back on the 1st of October 2025. It's going to be back on the 1st of October 2025. So that is what you use the EDATE function to do. So you use the workday function to shift a date by days. You use the EDATE function to shift a date by month. Workday to shift by days, EDATE to shift by month. If you are clear up to this point, please type 9 on the chat for me. Excellent. Last case study, so we can round up. Now, we have the date of birth and we want to get their ages. We've got a date of birth and we want to get their ages. What's the logic, people? How do you get people's age? If you want to shift the date without paying attention to work days, just add the days normally. The date plus that number of days. That's all you have to do. What's the logic for getting day, birthday, age? Today minus birth date, that would not give you the age. So that will probably give you the number of days that they've spent on Earth. Date div, that might work. Present year minus birth year, excellent, that would work too. So once you understand the logic, and this is something I always say, I think I mentioned it in the class yesterday as well. Analysis is more of thinking than doing. It's when you understand what you want to achieve, you understand the natural process towards achieving that thing. That's when it will be easy for you to translate it into what a machine like Excel would understand and do for you. So if you can't do it yourself, you probably cannot get Excel to do it for you. We know that for us to get the birthday, the age rather, we need just the year. What's the current year and what's the current year and what's the year of birth? So for me to get the current year, I can do something like this, equal to year of today. Year of today will return 2025. That's the year of today. Minus year of birth. Year of today minus year of birth. So this gives this 33 years for this person. That's the straightforward method. But you know the issue with this is that as at today, as of today, this man is actually not 33 yet, as of today, because today's date is 5th of November. So, which means that he has not probably celebrated the 33rd birthday. Does anyone understand where I'm coming from? Good. So, what that means is that we need to sort of create a condition. We need to sort of create a condition that will check if the current month in the year is on or after the month of birth. It's only when we are in the month of birth, or we have passed the month of birth, that's when this formula would be accurate. What I mean is this: assuming, so we are in November already, but we need to also consider that, are we already after the day of birth? So if we are not already after the day of birth, we should not use this formula as it is. We should rather deduct 1 from the year. That will mean that the guy should actually still be 32, because we are still some days away from the actual day and the month of birth. So let's quickly implement that in the method 2. Equal to, if, what is the first condition we want to check? The first condition we want to check is we want to check whether the month of today is greater than or equal to the month of birth. That's the first thing we are checking. We are checking whether the month of today is greater than or equal to the month of birth. At the same time, we also want to check, so I'll put and here, we also want to check if the day of today, is greater than or equal to the day of month of birth, like this. So it is when these two conditions are true, that's when you should use the year of today. Someone is already thinking, how did I get to this class? The year of today minus the year of birth. Otherwise, you should do year of today minus year of birth minus 1. I hit enter, and now we get back 32. What have I just done? Very simple. What I'm checking is this: what is the person's month of birth? Have we reached the month of birth in the current year? That's the first condition we are checking. So this is November. The person's month of birth is November. So have we gotten to November in the current year? That's the first thing we are checking. If we have, also, what is today's date? Like today's day. Have we also gotten to, is today's day, is it after or exactly the same as the day of birth? If both conditions are true, then we want to do year of today minus the birth year. That will give us the actual age. If it's not, we want to subtract 1 from it. That's all. Okay? So let's break it down. Let's rewrite it. So pay attention now. Pay attention. That's the last thing we are doing tonight. So I do equal to if. I say, want to check if there are two conditions. So I will start with and. If the month of today is greater than or equal to the month of birth. That's the first condition. So what am I saying here? I want to check what is the current month. We are in November. What is the birth month? It's November. So this condition will be true. Method 1 is okay. It might not be okay in all instances because you want to report accurately. Imagine that you want to be sending automated emails to people on their birthday and you're already telling somebody that they are 33 when they are not. Or maybe for whatever reason in the organization, but that's just on the lighter mood. But again, your analysis, you want it to be as accurate as possible. That's the first condition we are checking. Second condition, the day of today. You want to check if this is greater than or equal to the day of birth. So those are the two conditions. If this is true, deduct the year of today. Say year of today minus year of birth. Minus year of birth. Otherwise, say the same thing, minus 1. So which means they have not actually clocked that age yet. So let me copy so I can paste it on the chart for somebody who might want to go and show people that they are now an Excel guru. But again, be careful so that you are not eventually a guru. All right. Questions now. So we have 9 minutes to wrap up. But the takeaway that I want you to get from all of this is that it's good that you know the different functions in pieces when they are not put together. But the actual power or the actual expertise come in play when you are able to now put them into real use cases. In this calculation now, we've put together some of the date functions that we learned today alongside the conditionals that we did yesterday. So now you're beginning to see the different links in all of this. What you typed on the chat, Adeshola, would return the same thing as method 1. So that would not solve it for the method 2, if you understand what I mean. Okay, so that's the point of all of this. Any questions? I won't call your name, Kalu. I will not. I'm respectful. Any questions? So we can go to bed, especially for Lagos people. They are stressed already. Yes, Mary, that's correct. Questions, people? Everyone is humble. Uncle Peace. Or is it Madam Peace? This is the short method, sir. Or deep? Yeah, it is. Your Excel has date div. There is no Excel that doesn't have. I seen any. Yeah, difference between Workday and NetWorkday International. NetWorkday essentially just it has the option to include international holidays. So, but I think for there should be Workday International as well. Most likely, let me see what will be the difference. Let's go to the description. But I think they return something very close or do the same thing. Returns the number of all work days between 2 days. Okay. And work day returns the serial number of the dates before or after number. Yeah, that's the difference. So work days actually will return a date. That's you're shifting a date. You are shifting a date by a number of days, but network days is telling you the difference between 2 days. So what we used date D for, network days can actually do that same thing too, if you understand what I mean. Can ifs work for this? You have your answer already. We did that yesterday. The second stage is returning 1. Nope, it shouldn't. You're doing something wrong. You need to check it again. It's giving you 33 still. It's not supposed to. Please pay attention. Just be patient to work through it. Method 1 recap. That's the simpler one. And it's in method 2 as well. Chin and Z. I already answered. Network day will return the difference between 2 days. Work day would help you to shift dates by a number of days. Any other question? Any other question? You don't have to cram anything. If you understand clearly what we did yesterday, and today's class is also clear to you, you don't need to. It's just an application of what you have learned. You watch the recording, Charity. Whatever you have missed, just watch the recording. How do you delete an existing column? Click on the column from the top, from where you have the letters, click on that column, and then you do Control minus, or you right click and you see delete. Well, I use GitHub, but I'm not actively. I don't use not actively. It's been a while, but once in a while, I just post a few things on my repo there. What's another method to use aside using if function? I leave you to explore that. All right, not sure there are questions. See you all next week. Enjoy the rest of the week. Have a great weekend as well. Bye for now, everyone.